Okay, so we're watching The Dark Crystal tonight. Take notes. I have a feeling, I've been told by everyone that we're going to be taking some there's some real interesting pieces. And apparently they're making part 2 of it right now to come out next year. And apparently it's all about the separation and the division and how that happened. So, let's turn off our cameras, turn off our mics, all that good stuff, and let's watch a movie. Okay, Natasha has got a camera on. Hold on. There we go. So, I'm so glad I got a chance to watch that movie over again. Like I said, it's been so many years since I've seen it. Years and years. And of course, the meaning is so radically different now compared to even what it would have been 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I think it's very interesting that they're making part 2. Part 2 to this movie is being made, and I think it's being released next year. And I believe it is the story of the split and how they ended up splitting the crystal and causing division and separation to begin with. So I think it's kind of interesting that all of a sudden that movie's being made after so many years. I mean, The Dark Crystal came out in 1982. Someone else who can do math can figure out how many years ago that was, but you know. Yeah, and Stephanie, exactly. Now was definitely the right time to watch this movie again. Just wow. So many 36 years. Thank you, mathematician Crazy Crone. 35 years, 36 years. There we go. Yeah, it even seems kind of like an oddball number of how many years to make it to come by. Why now? Like that's my whole thing. I was like, when I heard they were making it again, I was like, okay, why are they're making a movie about it like now? Yeah, there's a lot of pieces in that movie. Like, holy shit, a lot of pieces in that movie. Um, I don't know. There's a couple of things. A couple of the things. I mean, something to do with the triple sun. And Starwalker brought up that like we just watched Stargate. How many suns were in the sky in Stargate? Okay, so yeah, numerologists in the crowd. And just because it's the sun, and then we keep talking about the sun, like we just talked about the sun again on Wednesday. Again, the sun. Just before we went live, I again was talking about the sun today because I got a sunburn this week, and it was like just a weird sunburn. I've never had one like this before. It was like, yeah. Now I found it interesting. Yes, at the very end, everything that the Skeksis made fell to pieces. Their entire, construct fell to pieces. And I thought that was really, really interesting. Um, so yeah, three moons, three suns. I can't remember, but yeah, the whole number 3 thing keeps coming up. The story. Now I agree. You know, there's always these reoccurrent savior memes that happen in these movies. There's a prophecy. Someone's going to come along and be the savior. Hell, maybe we should watch the movie Dune. Because again, that's another one there with the Dune Messiah, etc. I hate those, and I wonder. I have to wonder, like, is that a twist? Is that a twist, Or is it almost kind of like we have to be our own saviors? Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's the one thing we kind of keep going back to is that you can't. Where each of us are. We were having a conversation just the other day, Nick and I. It was the joke of him saying, We've had this ongoing conversation about being the star in our own universe. Do you know what I mean? Like each one of us is the center point, the only thing in our own personal universe. In which case, we have to be our own savior, right? It is an archetype, Pam. I agree, but I think there's got to be yes, Elizabeth. That's it. No more external saviors. We've got to keep going back to this. I don't know. This place of just kind of got to keep centered into ourselves.
That's a twist they throw in on every one of them, Danny. So you just got to know it's coming in, but they still give you a storyline that you can follow along. You can see a lot of truth in it. But the twist is always at the end with that external savior, be it a gelfling or a hobbit or you name it. Every story's got one.
Well, we have that biblically too. You know, how many saviors have we had?
And that's the whole thing with the biblical programming, and not just biblical. I mean, fucking religious books all over the place are full. Every one of them has got saviors. You even go into the mythology. There's always a savior. There's always a hero. There's always a hero, right? So if you have a society that is entrenched with hero stories, savior meme stories, then it comes through in the storytelling. But we can look at, I think, like you say, the greater aspects of everything, what was in this movie, the separation, the whole thing, and the bringing it all back together. And like I said, quite frankly, the whole tearing down of the construct at the end. Watching everything crumble, and we've said this so many times especially in the last year, it's like, holy crap, the amount of crumbling we're seeing. Everything around us seems to be crumbling, from technology to politics to just literally the physical world in and of itself. Yeah, maybe we will have to watch Dune one day. If you haven't seen it, the director's cut is really good. Long, but really good. Yes, darling. Hello, sweetie pie.
Hi everybody. Hi. Can I just offer something? It's just a point of view.
Yeah, chuck her in.
What if the savior isn't really a savior at all? What if it's just a catalyst? The importance is to get the shard back in, and I think it's putting ourselves together. We need a catalyst sometimes. That's the way that I viewed it anyway.
Maya, I'm not going to say you're wrong, because here's the thing. We've talked for years now, and you'll remember this from the conversations we had back in 2013. We talked about sometimes you need a bridge. To get from here to there, sometimes you need something that'll help you get from that point to put that point. So that's kind of interesting. And I mean, in that way, okay, so in one of the ways I always talk about, there's a lot of bullshit out there. There's a lot of alternative media. There's a lot of characters out there who are really doing humanity pretty much a disservice. Let's just put it that way. And yet they've all had their piece they've brought forward. They've all kind of helped to build that bridge to help people get across. And whether it is like your Alex Joneses or your David Wilcox, etc., they played their role. And a lot of us here will say that they played a role in our own growth, right? So maybe that's more a way. I like the way of looking at it that way. Just that idea of like sometimes we need a little push, a little stepping stone that kind of keeps leading us in the right direction to putting ourselves back together. And I personally, like I said, both those characters I've just mentioned played a huge part in me waking up to various bits of corruption, various things that were going on. Now, did I stay at that level? No, because you push on past and you go through it to the next level of stuff that you're looking at. I don't know.
I got a theory. It's more than a theory. It's a feeling, Danny. I'd like to share it with you on that particular point you're raising.
Yep.
I maintain there's two agendas at play at the same time. They appear on the surface to be identical, so you can't tell them apart. But the difficulty, or the thing about it, is at the very end, they're diametrically opposed. But at this juncture, we're still looking at what looks like one program running, which is the savior meme, like you're talking about. Yeah. Even in all of these stories, it's that. But at the same time, internally, some of us, like Mia just said, and others I know for sure in here are feeling the same thing. Wait a minute, maybe that's the part that's not right I'll say it for me, and I'm sure you can transpose your own self into that statement if you feel like it, but that's the second program that on the external looks the same, but internally we're finding something that doesn't quite fit right, and many people are still looking for the savior. There's no doubt about that, and you're right. Don't forget the Grand Mufti or whatever the hell they call him over there in the Muslim world. They're looking for that too. It's like the Christians are looking for Jesus.
The second coming of Christ, and the Judaic religions are looking for the first coming of the Messiah. And yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a whole. We all get it. If you're continuously looking externally for someone to save you, then you're not working on the internal. Like, if all your attention is out here looking for someone who's going to come along and save you, then you're not necessarily doing what you would be doing in yourself to save yourself. I mean, I've said this for fucking donkey's years now. It's all very lovely to sit there and do the om at your belly button and, oh, well, it's okay. It's all done now. All I have to do is sit here and it'll all play out exactly as it should. But yeah, exactly. It's a story of the old paradigm, the savior. And that is, to me, I think it's like a trap. If you're continuously looking for that savior, you're looking outwards, out there, you're looking for find someone, something, some entity, something bigger than you, grander than you, more powerful than you, etc. And then you can, in some ways, I think, kind of like not take responsibility for yourself. You don't take responsibility in the same way as if you know that you're the one who has to do the work, then you take responsibility. Does that make sense?
You're right on the money. You really are.
And that's what I just keep seeing right now. Like, it just seems to me like we keep talking about the narratives that are playing out at the moment. Insane narratives. Like some of them have just gotten over the top. But the one thing that always comes into that is there's an external thing. Now, who's to say there isn't some external thing going to happen? I'm totally open to the fact of, like, I've said since fucking 2011 that I really do believe that there's something to do with the energy in the sun and all the rest of it, whether it's the galactic sun, whatever you want to call it, charged particles, whatever. But that doesn't stop us from still doing the work. We still have to do the work ourselves. No one's going to come along and make it all shiny and just drop it in your lap.
You're right about that, Danny. That's two programs running simultaneous with each other. I'm talking about exactly what you said, paraphrased it, or restated it actually more fully. You said it, and very clearly. That's what's going on, and you can look for some external manifestation. Project Bluebeam, some other goddamn thing. The sun exploding or radiating outward, all that stuff, that's part of that you can expect to see. But that's going to be one of the two. And what you're talking about is the other one that doesn't get a whole lot of publicity, by the way. Does it?
Yeah. What, taking responsibility for our fucking selves? Yeah.
Yeah, that one. That'd be the
not
one.
much publicity on that one. Self-responsibility has been pushed out of some people's view. And I completely agree, Deb. And I mean, that's what religion does. That's what religion does. Because basically the only responsibility you have is to the religious, following the religious rules. But even those are usually, you can get atonement, you know. You know, if you're Catholic, you can go to confession and say some Hail Marys and play with your rosary. And apparently it's all washed away. So therefore you don't, I mean, I'm living in a Catholic country, like the most Catholic fucking country on the face of the planet. And you see it every day. We comment all the time on the fact of, yeah, where's that love thy neighbor shit again? Because, like, I'm not finding very much of it. But there's an excuse. There's that out, right? Confess your sins. It's all washed away. And most religions have that exact kind of propaganda behind it, you know. Even to the point of the choices that you make, and the choices at the very end are still made by someone external to yourself. Hit the loophole. Exactly, Stephanie. Going through a mediator. Yep. So, yeah, and Deb, exactly. The nanny state training has been thick in the American schools. No wiping your own rear end. And that's it. You can't take responsibility for anything. If you're going to be offended by everything, you're going to just do, yeah, oh, I know. Yeah. Don't you want to get me going down that road? I found the movie really interesting. Really interesting. And especially when you look at it and say, this isn't a modern movie. This is a movie from 1982. That is pretty interesting in and of itself. And kind of like what I was saying, I think I said a couple of last show, maybe the one before that we seem to see these kind of pieces come out in waves. Like you'll see a cluster of movies come out that give you a piece like this, and then it seems to, like, you don't get anything for a few years, and then another cluster of movies comes out that brings more little pieces to the table. That's interesting.
That's probably, you know, again, that long ago, this whole idea of secret mystery schools and secret organizations of the esoteric level, not the external, you know, not the lower levels, which we all ran into along the way, you know, the Shriners and and all that kind of stuff. But the you know, 33rd degree and above in all versions of whatever it is, Rosicrucians, you name it, there's a bunch of them. All Knights of Malta, Danny. But anyway, that storyline is there, and that was them kind of telling it through a Jim Henson movie. The storyline that it's predictive programming in a way.
Yep.
Only done through a Muppet thing this time, or in these other movies.
In a child's movie.
Yes, ma'am. They're preaching to children that thinking. Their attitude is that we're a bunch of children that can't see the subtlety, so they're going to spell it out in a cartoony kind of a childlike manner. I'm not trying to be mean or cruel or demeaning in that.
No, I get it. I find this one part of the right at the very opening, when the very opening of the movie, when they're explaining kind of like, what was once one was split into two. Now, in the book, in the explanation of the movie, it's that they did something at the very end of the movie, and the light being says, in our own arrogance, we did this thing that caused this break to happen. One of my favorite series of books is by David Eddings, Belgarath the Sorcerer, and all the Belgariad and the Malorian series. And in that, you have the two necessities. And basically the explanation is that once everything was on one path, everything was all together, everything was on one path. And then all of a sudden something happened. I can't remember exactly what the explanation was now, that split the one path into what became two. And they became the two necessities. And each had to wanted to make their path the one, to put their path in control of everything. And so you have 20,000 years of history of the two necessities. And you have the dark side, and you have the light side, and you have pretty much the Skeksis and the mystics, exactly like that in the book. And it's all about bringing it back to one. And again, it's the bringing it back into one single, what should have been the original necessity, the original path, if you will. So I find that part of the story very interesting. For me, that's just my own personal piece. I find that really, really fucking interesting when that kind of stuff comes out. Lily, did you want to say something? I guess not. Okay. Yeah, interesting. I'm actually really looking forward to see the second book now, or the second movie. I've never read the book. Deb, maybe I need to go try and find a copy of the ebook of The Dark Crystal and actually read it, because of course the books always have that much more detail, etc. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing the second movie because I want to kind of see if they're going to try and twist it. Are they going to try and twist kind of what could be the original meanings, or is it going to be another piece of disclosure?
I was going to say real quick too, Dee, is like you guys, like what you're talking about now is like the Skeksis. Like when I first watched it, it's like some of these names they came up with, and I didn't even think to actually look up where the name Skeksis came from.
Yep.
I have no idea. I should look that up.
Yeah, see if it's someone. Well, there is a movie out. There was a movie that came out called The Making of the Dark Crystal. And it was really, really cool because, of course, it tells you how they made the Muppets, how they made the costumes, how they made the Striders, and the story, all the background story, how they made all these different things. So maybe we should see if we can find that. If someone can find a copy of that, maybe even, I don't know, you might even be able to find something like that on YouTube. It might be interesting just to see if they come into the Skeksis thing, like where did they come up with the names, etc. I mean, mystics, okay, that's kind of self-explanatory. But the one thing that said for me was Skeksis and the River Styx. That was just the immediate kind of connection that I made between the two names. Oh, very good. Yeah, Maya, good point. These movies could also be a test to see whether the message is received. Are we ready yet? That I don't know. That's one of those things that's why I kind of wonder about the things, why these movies come in waves. Where you get a couple of movies, a bunch of movies come through, and it's like, are people going to take the information to the deeper information from stuff? Oh, Fred, who the hell knows? No one knows. Fred just said who would be testing. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. Whatever runs this fucking construct, whatever runs this fucking universe, whatever fucking storybook we've fallen into, because I'm sometimes halfway decided that this is the movie. We're just in a fucking movie somewhere. And it's like, going back, it's like, you know, screaming. What's the movie where he does? Come on, with Jim Carrey. Come on, help me, someone.
God, like Bruce Almighty. You said something about
no, the one where he's on TV. He grows The Truman Show. Thank you. That was terrible. Like my brain completely collapsed. That's what sometimes I feel. I got a fucking lot of time. I feel like this is like a real, actual Truman Show that we're in right now. So is there a director out there somewhere going, right, we're ready for Act 2?
Just want to dump that in here because that with all the archetype things that go on, the savior means blah blah blah, the big higher being, power, hyper god, whatever. Part of those little conditionings that we have that make us externalize everything is also quest and test. Oh, it's okay, all the shit we go through because it's a test. So I used to go for that. I admit years ago I wasn't there, like, okay, it's all a test to see, if I can make this through, if I blah, 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 blah. Yep. Honestly, I am very, very cautious now with thinking that whatever shit any of us is going through is some form of test, because
I don't. I'm with you, Fred. I agree. I fucking don't. That is one of those not victim cop out, but like
not quite.
It's a cop out. It's a cop out. Like, oh, we're being tested. Oh, and there's a shit ton of those.
Right. It's not you. You're not in charge. It's shit happens. Yes, shit happens to a lot of us. No, to all of us. Various shit happen. Yeah. If we start believing, it's only my opinion. Again, I'm not putting this as an absolute out here. It's my opinion, but it's in my point of view, in what I've come to observe and see and feel and come to see as my truth right now. I don't do tests.
No, I agree. I think that's a very subtle, slippery slope. Slippery slope. There we go. That leads you to yeah. No, I've never liked that. I've tried that on.
It makes us a student instead of in control. It's one of the. It's so subtle, like you say, it's subtle. It's not like the big. Okay, I'm the big, great power being higher. They are full of light and stuff. That when I hear, I'm grabbing the fucking fire extinguisher immediately. Douse that thing out.
Well, this is
a subtle one.
It's the programming. It's all little pieces of programming that keep coming up over and over again.
Yeah. Are you one of the chosen? Are you worth? No. Everybody's worth it. Each and every one of us, except maybe if we go along with the idea that not all humans, all sentient beings on this planet right now are actually real organic consciousness. Some may not be, maybe background characters, but
humans.
Let's say the organic humans, we are all able. We can all do it. There is no chosen ones or better ones, or you are the ones that made it through all the tests. So we are all
passed the test, which means therefore that someone else must have failed it.
Yeah, exactly. Like very well pointed when there was that fight between the putrid lizards. What is it? When somebody wins, somebody has to lose. That's another huge piece of indoctrination. Mm-hmm. Huge one.
Yep. Definitely.
Right on point, Fred. When you're in the student status, and we're always, as long as there's somebody that supposedly knows better, has more power and all that stuff, we're subservient to their power or knowledge. We're in student status effectively. We can never be masters. Yep. And that's implicit in that. And I think some of us are looking at it and saying, wait a minute, the real game here is to become masters of our own lives. Yeah. And we're not saying it's an impossibility anymore, like we've been told all of our lives from everybody all the time.
Yep. Shoved down your throat from the moment you're born. Fred, I've never resonated. That whole thing of, oh, this is a test is just too religious to me. Continuously, God is testing you. Yeah, fuck that shit.
I just want to pick up on Lori, because some people still have a knee-jerk reaction when we say, we are our own masters, or we are mastering this. You can be, put it this way, for those of you who this notion or this kind of word, this kind of language still creates a knee-jerk reaction. Think of it that way.
Yep.
Feeling like you are in power, like you are a master, does not mean you're an imbecile, ego-filled asshole. It means you are a humble. The more you know, the more you feel, the more humble you are. So you are aware of your power. You're aware of it, you own it, and you use it. You can never hurt anyone when you're at that level of thinking. Never. It's humble. It's not about that kind of power, that earthly kind.
And I think there's a problem. There's a real problem with that whole thing of like, we are the creators, you are the there's a kind of like Maury was saying, but there's a subtle programming there on paths that it becomes a twisted whatever context it had, it becomes very twisted into a very new agey that loses any real semblance of truth in my personal opinion. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's not real because it's, for lack of a better word, it's shallow. People take that as a very shallow, I'm not explaining this very well. People take sentences like that and it becomes something you just say. It's almost like going to church and you say into the Catholic Church and you got to say your answers back and your amens and your it doesn't actually have any meaning anymore. But the only meaning left in it is very religiously tied. Regardless of what the religion is, that doesn't matter. It just becomes very religiously tied. Yes, Penny?
Another thing that I've noticed is there is no encouragement. People are not encouraging one another. They take it almost like a threat to their ego. And it's like, dude, wait, whoa. And that's where the levels, I'm a master, you're not. Who the fuck cares? Because everybody has knowledge. And if we all started throwing in our knowledge, no matter how small or how big, and people actually go, oh, awesome, that is great, good. How much encouragement are you seeing? Yep. Period.
Not much.
Nobody encourages anybody else because they're all fucking worried about their own goddamn ego. And you know what? That's where we need to fucking wake the fuck up.
Yep.
We're all equal. Some have more fucking knowledge than others. But you know what? Everybody has it. Okay, my rant's over.
I like your rant. Your rant was fucking awesome. Lily, did you want to say something? I saw your hand was up and now you're unmuted, but I don't know if you're actually saying anything, love, because we can't hear you. I have a feeling maybe Wild Lily's having an issue with her communication devices. Huh. Yeah, the greater discussion at hand. And we just touched on it. Someone just touched on it a second ago. The use of language and the use of words. And it seems like we always keep coming back to that I say it all the time. It's like we need to reinvent the language. We actually really need to reinvent the language to throw out some of these old terminologies that we just keep using over and over again. Because almost every discussion we have, there'll be a word that will come up. And you can see by everyone's reactions, et cetera, that not everyone's on the same page because that word can have different meanings to different people. And sometimes these words are highly programmed. And for example, we were just saying about that, we are the creator, well, the word creator is highly programmed. In most sense, it's very religious, and it means God, religious God, biblical God, right? So we really need to be more aware of the words that we're using. I catch myself all the time. You say certain things, and then you have got to kind of backtrack and go,
Yeah, creator source is another one.
Yeah, but all of those, they're very religious. Like if you really, really look at it, it's very, very fucking religious. You can't define it as anything separate than, it's not separate from Christianity or Judaism or, I don't know, fucking ancient Nordic Viking mythology. There's still a creator. There's still do you know what I'm saying? And every time we use these words, I feel like they're a trap that we fall into.
But everybody needs some kind of, steering wheel in life. And, we can depend on ourselves, but I don't know, you know what I mean? What do you look up to? What do you?
Oh, okay. So
what do you grab on to?
Question: why look up to anything? Who
Right.
told you we have to look up to anything? That's where I come from. Every time it comes back to this one thing. Like
I don't mean it like that. I don't mean it like in a worshiping thing.
No, I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
My
Like a
problem is this.
safety rope, the life preserver,
But who said it is? That's where every time when someone comes up, and it doesn't matter what it is, like, again, throw a new age meme onto the table, right? My always response when people, especially when people answer in an absolute, this is what it is. Who said so? And what proof did they give you that they were telling you the truth? Who said so? Where did this idea come from? And 99.999% of the time, people look at you blankly and go, well, it is what it is. Really? Who said so? So for me, I get that people want something to look up to or look forward to or look towards.
a steering wheel, Danny.
A steering wheel.
Where did
But
we
have a steering wheel. Do you know what
No. I'm saying we get to the point where we want to know the truth, and it's like, where did we come from? Why are we here? And where the fuck are we headed?
Oh yeah. And I have all those questions, and I have asked those questions fucking every fucking day.
Hold on. I need to break in here because, okay, everything we have just said puts us in a victim place. Okay, we don't have control. Our words, so they were taken from us, and we can't use them but we're not looking at it as if we're in control. If we look at it, our instincts told us, okay, that word is bad now. Why is it bad? Okay, instead of us controlling the situation and then taking them back and saying, no, this will be my word again. All right. Instead of then going, oh, well, we have to create a new word, which is awesome. Okay, we can do that. But God damn, why? They tainted everything. Every fucking thing I have ever known, trusted, everything is tainted. So let's untaint it. If I want to say God, you know what? I still use God. Do I believe in this entity, whatever? No, I don't. But goddamn, it shouldn't create a fucking, that's what they did. They charged that word, okay? They charged it to explode when somebody says it. Okay, well, what can we do then to uncharge it? Then we start saying it a lot, right? Until everybody, we can use their tactics for us.
I completely agree. I completely 100% agree. And I am not, I just want to clarify, I am not saying that we have to stop using these words because they've taken them and they've twisted them. I'm saying we need to stop using these words as a method of communication. Because if I say God to you, you and I are going to be pretty much on the same page. We can kind of use that word, but I can guarantee that probably 50% of the people who are going to listen to this video tomorrow, if I say God to them, there's probably a whole lot of them who are going to have an instant construct in their head of what God means according to their beliefs, according to their background, according to their social programming, etc., etc. So when I say about language, I don't mean, because yeah, I think we should fucking take back these fucking words. Absolutely. We should take back all of these things. I'm speaking only from the place of to communicate clearly, to be aware that other people don't have the same definition of a word that we do. That's only what I mean. And I'm talking just the fact of everyone has different definitions, and it's been deliberately done that way. So that's the only reason someone wants to use the word God, how they interpret it is their own personal thing. Everyone is going to go through a place to find what a word means to them. Problem is, it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone's giving it the same definition.
Yes.
Therefore, we miscommunicate with people.
Yes, but as you see, it's almost like this trap, okay? Now, sure, they're using it, and they're stuck in that trap. That's where we come along, and we remove that trap from them, okay? And that's what we need to be focusing on, okay? Is how to remove that trap. Well, how they set the trap was they used it in their own way, their own creation. They took it over, right? Well, we take it back and we start using it in a more we control it.
Positive, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We turn it back to maybe what we would say we originally is. The problem is half these words we don't know what they originally meant.
But I have noticed
constructs that were never ours.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know that.
No, and that's what I'm saying. We don't know that, and that's what I'm actually saying. We don't have any answers, regardless of what lots and lots of groups.
But we do have their blueprint of how they did this. Okay, how they fucked everything up. That we have that blueprint, guys. That's ours now. Okay, yep. And we can turn it, and we can create our own.
Yeah,
and I've been playing with words in UU. Okay, and seeing the reaction, and sometimes it's just ignored, right? Sometimes it's responded to, but it's getting everybody used to that open, that openness. Okay, we've been closed off. We have been so closed off because somebody will jump on us and criticize us or try and rip everything we say apart and blah, blah, blah. But what did it do? That's where Aaron's post honestly taught me, oh my God, it opened up this whole new paradigm for me. What were those words really fucking doing? Not a goddamn thing. But everybody jumped on, policed it. They judged it. They ridiculed it. Oh my God, if you want to talk biblical, that was biblical to me. It was like, whoa. And I really did try to go, guys, come on, see this for what it is. It was just, oh my God. I do think, guys, we really have to jump it up a step, because we're getting in we've been in a loop. Okay. Yeah, we keep going back and going, and we're not really aggressive enough. And I do think we need to get more aggressive, more forgiving, more, guys, hey, get your punching bags out, because I'm going to say it.
I'm not going to use that. I don't know if I'm going to agree with you on the F word.
No, we have to become more Christ-like.
No, we don't.
There, we said it.
No, we don't. No, not even slightly. And that's what I'm talking about. JC, that there is exactly what I'm talking about. That.
But I just took it and used it for me, not from a Bible, not because we're in a Christ. Okay.
Well, I know, but JC, that's my
narrative.
Point. Doesn't matter, because every single person in this room took it completely fucking differently.
Exactly, that's what I'm talking about.
Right, but we need to be able to communicate clearly. And sometimes you can win, you can take the battle and fight to get the word back. Mm-hmm. And some words just ain't worth taking back, sorry. And Christ is one of them, as far as I'm concerned. But we also have to communicate. And to me, we're at a point now where, in some ways, the communication of some of the stuff that we're talking about now is critical. Critical.
Maya said it perfect. Assertive instead of aggressive.
Yes, assertive. Yes.
Yes. Excellent. So yeah, but do you see the reaction?
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. That reaction, that is what we have to stop.
No, I disagree. And that's
because it's just a word.
Doesn't matter. That word has a connotation, and it is a heavily programmed, heavily fucking programmed connotation and description that was invented for one sole purpose. Now, we're not talking about someone co-opting a word that was originally there. That word was put into use for one sole purpose, and that was programming. So for me personally, only speaking for myself, I don't need to take that word back. It's not my word. It's not even my language.
Oh, yeah. And sorry, I don't mean take it back into like ourselves, but transform it into just a word. It's just a fucking word.
I know, but honey, we also know where words come from. And the reason they call it spelling is spelling. And that's why I only use the Christ word when I'm cursing my fucking head off. That's the only time you'll hear me say the JC word. And I don't mean JC. John Carl, I don't mean you.
Yeah.
Or JC, you, Penny.
Isn't that how this conversation started?
Say again, Jane, I can't hear you.
I said, isn't that how this conversation started? Words that have meaning and people identify with the word according to the meaning, their belief.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So that's what I'm saying. I'll give you a prime example. I got into a huge argument with a really good friend of mine, guy who I'm still in like this with. I love him to pieces. We got into a fight. Oh God, this was in the RTS Skype room. So that'll tell you how long ago it was. It had to have been probably 2012. And he was talking about, we got to take back the word nigger. And I looked at him, I said, no, we don't. No, we don't. Some words are not worth taking back. That would be one of them.
Oh, that is a perfect point. Yes.
Okay. And it was like the same thing. I said, look at, and we look, and symbols. That was the other thing. We're talking about words and symbols. And I said, the swastika has the most beautiful meanings, right? But the swastika has now been so corrupted, so polluted. No one will ever be able to use that symbol again. Ever. Hitler made sure that symbol has just been literally wiped out of everyone's drawing fucking book. No one is ever going to use that again because it is so heavily programmed now that at that point you get to a point where you go, it's time to just throw that one away.
That is very true. Yeah.
And that's all
You're
I'm saying. Like,
right.
there's certain words that and this is one of those things, right? Like, so we talk about things like, for example, let's go back to the original word, creator, right? When we say we are the creator. Now, there's so much religious programming from the Christianity, Judaic kind of viewpoint. And like I say, even you get into mythology, right? There's this programming. Then there's this new age programming, which leads to a whole, oh, we are the creator, which also kind of does this whole victim thing. You are the creator of your own reality. Therefore, everything that happens to you is all your fault. Because, you're the creator of your own reality. So you're just doing this to yourself, which means no one else has to be responsible for anything they've done to you.
And doesn't that suck?
Exactly. So, and yet creator is absolutely true. We are creators. We know we're fucking creators. We create incredible things. That is a word we need to be able to take back.
Okay.
You know what
on.
I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
there's a much deeper, in my opinion, original meaning of what that word means that doesn't have to be loaded with religion.
Well, here's just a thought, okay? Something to think about.
Hit us.
Okay. Language is ours, okay? Whether it was co-created by the good and the bad, something to think about, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so the bad has taken this language and twisted it and turned it. But what if that is something that we I need to articulate this. What if that is the lock? Okay? The lock that is keeping us in this loop. So what if we were to unlock it? I know that sounds crude, guys. Sorry, best way I could articulate.
I'm having issues myself tonight, love. Trust me. Okay, so going back to the movie. Go back to the movie. And they were one. It was all one, right? And then it was torn asunder, and you ended up with these two separate. And you can call them the good guys and the bad guys, the light and the dark, the however you want to describe it, right? And the bringing it back together. What happened to the one happened to the other in the movie. There was an equality there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it was directly related. If, again, going back to the whole thing of words, right? There is a neutrality in words. Or let me say, there can be a neutrality.
Yeah, there should be.
There should be. And we absolutely, I say it all the time, like, we need to take back our language and all this. Our only problem is that we have, for example, is English. English is a modern language. English was created very, very specifically for very specific purposes, right? And division is one of the main purposes. When you talk to people who are heavily into the historical etymology, English was made to divide people in a lot of ways. So there's words that are missing. We don't have words in English to describe certain things. Like, we just don't, there is no English word for some of the things that we should have. And that's where we need to overcome our language, because when we don't have a word to describe something, then we're forced to use other words to try and define something that there is no actual words to define in our language. And that is one of the biggest fall downs of our language. So you get a language that was programmed to begin with, that we're sitting here right now communicating with, and we twist and we twist and warp the definitions. Anyone who's ever studied legalese will know just how badly twist and warped the definitions are. Then you program a lot of the words through religion and social programming, etc., and then we lose the language. But the language itself was programmed to be that way. And
you made an excellent point. Let's not forget that we lose the language.
We lose the language.
Oh,
Yep.
hold on to that, because that is an excellent point. So are we being forced to lose our language again?
Is that not maybe
well,
that's
well,
something that's
well,
actually
look.
helpful? I mean, we talk about one of those things of like we've got to be able to feel more.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if we lose that language a little bit, then we helps us to work more with
Well, take control.
nonverbal,
Take control.
nonverbal communication, however that looks.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, excellent point.
Nonverbal? I don't know.
Yeah, going more to the mind. That is really good. So maybe everything that's happening. Yeah, but maybe everything that's happening, we're looking at it bad, but maybe it is a good thing. Because then because our language is so tainted now and so screwed up and everything, we are now navigating into more of our mind, right? And how many posts in UU have just posted about how they can hear thoughts so much clearer now, and how,
and you get the energy. You read something in writing on social media and you can get the energy from it. You get whether the person's being wonderful and loving, whether it's sarcastic, whether it's just someone being seriously fucking bitchy and they make it look all flowery words, but you can literally feel when they're being a cunt. Sorry, gonna use the C word here. Right? So we get that, and we're getting it more and more, like more and more and more. We're starting to get. So yeah, are we losing language because it doesn't serve us anymore?
That's one of the things I was thinking about earlier, Danny, just a few minutes ago, is a lot of us have always been pretty in touch with, well, some of us, with the energies coming out from people around us, especially people we're close to, or that see often. But it seems to be really ramped up now. But yeah, I was thinking about that earlier, and it's like this thing has always really kind of been around, but maybe because more and more people are waking up, because the internet, and just over time, doors opening, and things becoming more transparent, and so it's like on one hand it looks like a lot of bad shit's happening. It's like, oh, we're just headed for the same doom and gloom, more of it. But on the other hand, I see a lot of positive, and don't ask me to explain that.
No,
but,
well, look at it. Like we just said, we're going back to the movie again.
Yeah.
Their construct fell apart at the end. And that was the one thing that was really wow to me, is like their little minions. Oh, you can get that. The little bug minion guys literally fell apart. And if you think of them as being bots, how many of us have watched the kind of, sorry, I'm going to be insulting, but the bots around us literally falling apart? Like we're freezing in the middle of the road and just standing there going, right?
And, and the ones that were supposedly, what do they call himself? I am still the while he was dying on his.
Oh, the Emperor.
Yeah.
And
I'm still the Emperor. And then, he just crumbles and disappears. We saw that twice.
Yeah. Okay, so that was the whole thing in the movie that was really cool, is the fact of as their power fell apart, their construct fell apart. And I literally was like, well, fuck, our construct is fucking falling apart. And it sucks on a certain level. Like, we have to live through the fucking shit that is like, oh my fucking God. But, I don't know, the construct is falling apart. Whatever this reality is, it's clearly fucking not right anymore. And just the pictures, I was joking about that today. I was showing one of the videos that someone had posted to Nick. I was like, there was about 5 videos and photos posted in UnFuckers group in the last 2 days that show just bizarre fucking cloud formations.
Oh,
Bizarre,
I know.
like that Lake Michigan flooding out of nowhere. This all of a sudden the water level just fucking
Yes.
rise. What the fuck?
Yeah.
We're still missing a foot of water in where I am in the Med. It never came back.
No shit.
The foot of water has disappeared. Like you could see the water lines. It's like, okay, maybe not a foot, maybe it's about 8 inches. But so we have this weird shit happening fucking everywhere. So I don't know.
But there's a lot of good growing out of that.
Absolutely.
Bad.
Yeah.
And so I think we need to start focusing more on the good now.
Yeah.
Because we're still kind of in that loop of, oh my God, you know, Earth is going to crumble, it's going to die, and it's going to, okay, well, if it does, so what, we're gone. Okay? I mean, we're not going to know it, so just go with it, you know? But
I've said
look
that for
at
years,
the positive.
I've fucking said that for years. If there's back even in the 80s, when it was like the Cold War was like really in the early 80s, and the Cold War was really doing this massive ramp up. I'm like, I live in Toronto. It's going to be one of the first places that get nuked. I'll never even know what happened.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, I used to, oh my God, back in the 90s and early 2000s, you know, there was the big religion war, I would say, against religion and atheists. You know, it really started to bloom and pop at that time. And it was then I posted, and of course it got ignored, but who the fuck cares? Because even if you believe there's a heaven, okay, you're going to ascend to the heaven. If you're an atheist, then everything, you're going to just blink out of existence. We're not going to know.
At the end, like, I'm not a fatalist. Like, I'm not a fatalist. I'm not a pessimist. I'm just more of a realist in the fact that if you can't do anything about it, you can't do anything about it. And I'm not going to fucking worry about it if I can't do anything about it.
Well, the whole thing is nobody's going to fucking know anyway until after it happens.
Hell, it may have already happened. Yeah. We've already talked about this. 2012. Fucking God knows what happened.
So we put ourselves back into this loop instead of just dropping it and going, okay, it happened.
Yeah, it just happened.
Let's, wow, this is pretty fucking amazing.
Hey, now, JC, I got something for you. You said, of course, take me a while to get in here, but you said it's about time to stop, I'm paraphrasing it, about time to stop focusing on the bad and start focusing on the good as you define it for yourself. That, JC, is what you were also prior to that talking about, taking control of your own life and taking control of your own game. That is what you need. That's what it means. You said it, and that's how you do it. You make your life yours, not reactive to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly, Maury, but we have to remember, okay, just like we're a network, right? We are a network of people, and we've been so focused on us, healing us inside, fixing us inside, when there wasn't that much to fix, guys. We're here. We have every tool we have always needed, okay? And we stopped fucking looking at our neighbors or this person. What I said earlier about encouraging people, things like that. Everybody is still so trapped inside now. We need to stop, look around, and look at all the good, and then go, hey, there's my neighbor. Oh, hey, hi, do you need any help? Okay? And if they need any help, and we are intuitive enough that we should know what type of help they might need, and go, hey, we need to waken more now, okay? We've wakened to ourselves. Now we need to waken to the outside.
Yeah. I like what Maury just said. Before enlightenment, you chop wood and carry water. After enlightenment, you chop wood and you carry water.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Thank you for letting me rant. Okay.
Oh, darling,
Love you
anytime.
guys.
I'm going to have to close it down, though, guys, because it's now 20 to 1 in the morning. So, yeah, I know, Star, because every time I say I have to close it down, Star goes, and I have another thing to say.
Yeah, real quick, though, what you were just talking about, the programming, the religious stuff, it makes me think way back on the one people when you and Lisa were talking about this stuff, and apparently, I remember you mentioned this in the Vatican, I think it was a certain pope or cardinal, whoever, they had like this near-death thing, and they went to that where they were programmed with all that stuff. They experienced the fire and shit or whatever was they experienced. I remember you talking about that. It stuck in my head.
I don't remember that.
I do. It's just stuck in my brain, my mental vault, as they say on
Your mental
Seinfeld.
vault. Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was,
one day when I have 1,000 extra hours, I have to go back and listen to some of these old shows.
But yeah, it just goes back to that, what you guys are just saying. It's like, it's amazing how many people still don't get that because they're still programmed with it.
Yeah. Programming. So I'm going to release this video tomorrow because we had really awesome discussion, guys. That was really fantastic. Everyone brought some really great pieces to the table. I just tell everyone I'll do a preamble to it saying, okay, guys, so before you watch this, you need to go watch The Dark Crystal so you'll understand what the fuck we're talking about. Okay, next week's movie. Okay, I want a quick vote here. We got like a pile of us in the room. Do we keep having individual polls every week to see which lines up? Maybe because every week we have a little bit of a different feel of what should be next, because technically The Matrix won the poll this week, and we kind of I actually made the executive decision, I'm sorry, and said, yeah, no, we're going to watch The Dark Crystal. So, okay, now everyone's, okay, oh my God, you guys are all, now they're voting here in Jupiter Ascending. You haven't seen it, guys? Really? It's an interesting movie. I mean, it's very Hollywood. It's like really Hollywood, and it's got some seriously bad acting in it. But there's some shit in that movie as well. And it goes right along with the whole Skeksis draining the life force out. It's like, oh my God, Jupiter Ascending right there. Who cares about acting? Well, I don't usually, but there's sometimes where you just have to be like, wow, seriously.
Bad acting doesn't help. Yeah, bad acting doesn't help.
Sometimes it's a distraction. Sometimes it really does distract me. I can't help it. I've got like the attention span of a gnat.
It doesn't help the flow of the movie.
Yeah.
Let's do something more heavy duty, something more bang.
I don't know, Chick. What do you suggest that's heavy duty and bang? Because my brain is fried these days.
Well,
Seriously.
I don't expect you to come up with a suggestion right now, Dee.
I'm like, I've never seen Dune. Dune is a good one. There's a lot of shit in the Dune movie too. I have to admit, I'm highly biased though. Frank Herbert was one of my favorite authors. So the whole entire Dune series, those books.
Hey, last night I watched a good movie, and it is even worth renting. Love.
Renting? People rent movies?
Yeah. It's called Love and Time Travel.
Love and Time Travel.
Yeah, it's all about how we can mentally travel in our mind. So it really is a good movie to maybe think about.
Okay.
And very well done.
Someone started a list up in the UnFuckers room, and we'll start jotting these down. We need someone to take charge of the list, though. Do I have a volunteer of someone to take charge of the movie list?
I guess it depends on how much you want the movie. Well, I guess you have to. Well, I'm on here fucking enough anyways.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, when people throw out movie ideas, like, sometimes it comes up in just random posts that we can kind of add them to a major list that we have. So we had the UnFuckers put a list together in 2015. And it's still on my RTS Earth site, my old RTS, Removing the Shackles site. There's a massive fucking list of movies and TV shows. What we need to do is like take that list and update it with all the other shit, because we've got a lot of other stuff. But I don't have the time. So if someone wants to take on the job and wants to volunteer to take on the job of updating the movie list and keeping it up to date, I'd be really happy.
So it's in Removing the Shackles. Okay, the list is all right.
Yeah, I can pull it off.
All we would really need is a document, right?
Yeah, just a document.
And anybody could add to it then.
Yep. It could be even a Google Doc that we could keep in the UnFuckers group that could be added to it. The problem is that I have learned through experience that if I say to everyone, put it to the list, it never happens in an individual level. Yeah. So that's why I say if we have someone who kind of monitors shit that's going on in the room, in the groups, whether it's on Discord, whatever, and goes, oh, look, JC just posted about this great movie called Love and Time Travel. I'll look it up, maybe see what put with the. I think in our list we've got like a 1-sentence description beside each movie, and just add it to the list alphabetically. Throw it in.
Well, we need to be careful because there again, didn't we just talk about people taking on their own responsibility?
Yeah, I know, but I just would like to have a movie list, darling. I just want a movie list. That's all. I don't. Everyone else wants to shirk their responsibilities.
Well, then how do we wake everybody up really fast?
Yeah, darling, I have a 2x4 and a rubber mallet. That's pretty much
awesome.